Hi, I'm Jen. Welcome back to This and That Planning. I'm recovering from a very strange cold that was basically just in my throat, so I may sound a little off, so I do apologize for that. I'm planning on doing a two-part plan with me. This is about a situation that's still ongoing, and it's crazy. Like, I've learned so much, I want to say, in the past month and a half, 2 months. And it's just, all of it's a little bit wild. And I feel like more people need to know about it. So that's why I am doing this two-part plan with me. So the memory planning details, this is the Hot Mess Kit by Caress Press, and I used the orange hollow foil bundle that came with it. It was a mystery, and you guys will see in the video, somehow either did not receive or misplaced the 15mm solid washi, so I just used some washi tape on hand, so you guys will see that. So the situation, I am memory planning out the week of September 26th to October 2nd. And why I'm picking this is because this is the main week where everything started. But as I said, it's still ongoing. I'm going to try not to really use too many names because this is not, I don't know how to say this. It's not my story to tell, but I feel like it's something that people need to be aware of. So that is why I am sharing this story. And like I said, it's still ongoing. So some of this stuff is from this week. Some of this stuff is more current. But how I'm going to break this up is I am going to start by explaining what has been experienced, witnessed, and stated in this first video, so you guys can kind of get an understanding, or maybe just understand what we're dealing with. And in the second video, I'm going to talk more about what has been done to try to remedy the situation, and it's kind of rather scary and eye-opening to find out what is or is not available or possible. So in this week, and actually it started the Sunday of the previous week, my guy had a family member who flew into LAX in California and called him up on Sunday evening and said, "Hey, come get me. I'm at the airport in California." And they had meant to fly into Las Vegas. And it's a very easy mistake. LAX, LAS, especially in a hurry, because this was not planned. We knew nothing about this at all until the phone call came. So we helped this person get a flight from LAX to Las Vegas. Once upon a time, I did work at a casino and a hotel. And so I pulled some favors from some friends to allow us to do a credit card authorization the night of. The only reason we were able to do that is because they knew me personally. And we set her up in a hotel room to where we could go get her the next day when we were in Las Vegas when we went to work. So nothing really seemed abnormal other than just this phone call. And then when we woke up the next morning, which is Monday morning of this week, I had gotten a text message from a previous coworker saying that she had not checked in. And we were really confused because we weren't sure that she did fly to Las Vegas. We just completely lost her. So we went to work and we weren't sure how we would even get in touch with her, because she said that she was borrowing someone else's phone to even call us. And she was supposed to call when she landed in Las Vegas, and she never called. So that was a little bit strange. And as the day went on, she did get a hold of my guy, And when she got a hold of him, she did fly in, but she chose not to go to the hotel room. She just stayed up and got a taxi cab to Walmart and was shopping and hanging out at the airport, and, you know, was just around our school and was going to wait until we were done to meet up with us, you know. So again, things seem pretty normal, not quite, but pretty normal. So when she met up with my guy, I was doing club, so I was not available, but she did meet up with him. He ended up texting me and said, hey, she's a little strange, so do you mind, like, if we come join you in your room? And I'm like, you know, I still have some kids in here, but that should be fine. You know, he's a teacher, I'm a teacher, so having someone who is not a teacher, with 2 teachers present, and actually I have another coach that is also a teacher, so there's 3 adults who are all background checked, you know, everything should be fine. And like I said, it's a family member, so it's not somebody unknown. So anyway, got brought in, seemed fine, all went out to dinner, everything seemed fine. Drove home, and the second that I was alone with this person, they instantly started telling me that they were talking to me in my head, and that they shouldn't have to say what they're thinking out loud because they're in my head telling me. And that was very, very off. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, you're going to have to say it out loud because I don't know what you're trying to tell me. And then she immediately accused me of having a relationship with her husband, going by a name that's not my name, not always being a teacher, living in a city I've never lived in. And this is all just in a matter of minutes. And then my guy came back, and when he came back, she was normal. And it was just very strange. And then later, when him and I were talking, why she was weirding him out is she was telling him that she was pregnant, and she's later 50s. So it's not that it's impossible, but from what I understand, in the past, she had thought she was pregnant in the past, and it was some other health condition, and it wasn't that she was pregnant, but she was not wanting to seek help, and so she just assumed that she was pregnant. And again, being older, 50s, that is more of an age where menopause might kick in, so it's more likely that, again, it might be a medical condition and not so much actually her being pregnant. But she said that she was pregnant. She said that her husband changed her flight because he found out that she was coming to visit, so changed her flight from Las Vegas to California, which, again, like I said, it's very easy to make that mistake. LAX, LAS, like it's so close, you know? So anyway, and then said that her husband was bombing their property, and that they live in a camper and they're building a house right now. And she'd said that, like, she doesn't know how, but their camper goes underground and is protected, and he's bombing the property and destroying, like, what they've built up of their home. And then when the bombing is done, then the camper comes back, and the camper is fine and unharmed, and she doesn't know how that happens. So clearly not everything is going well. And my guy ended up reaching out to another sibling in the family, and that sibling reached out to her and was talking to her, and she admitted to that sibling that she hears voices in her head. She knows that something's off. She said that she'll admit to being depressed and delusional. She's not so freely admitting to hearing voices in her head, but like I said, she did tell a family member that she does. When she was here, one of the first things, my guy and her went and got the mail together, and my guy gave her the mail. And then when they came back in and I saw my guy, I'm like, okay, where's the mail? Because, you know, I was waiting on stickers, guys. Let's be real. But anyway, I expected stickers in the mail. And, excuse me, I got a cough. Sorry. So anyway, I'm like, where's the mail? And he turned around and looked at her and he's like, where is the mail? And she's like, oh, I set it somewhere, I forget where. And she'd actually put it in the room where she was going to stay. So she hid our mail for some reason. And she went and got it. And so we had our mail. I had talked to him and I'm like, she's not quite right. You should take the day off of work, you know, be with her. So then that way we know that everything is safe. And he took the day off work and he stayed with her. The next day he did go to work and she got the mail by herself. She opened all our mail. And when we got home from work and we're settling in and everything, and he's like, okay, I'm going to go get the mail. She's like, oh, I already got it. And he's like, okay, where is it? Because it wasn't sitting out anywhere on table or anything. And she's like, I'll go get it. She's like, I was bad though. And she had opened all of our mail, everything that had my name on it, everything that had his name on it. She opened everything. And I was not happy. I was really not happy. And I told her not to, you know, in the future. And I guess it was a little harsh. And my guy, you know, he's like, look, you know, we have bills and stuff. And he actually did have bills that she had opened with his name on it, which was not okay. She was constantly going through and reorganizing everything in our house. Like she would pull things out of the refrigerator and leave them on the counter that need to be refrigerated. She would put stuff in the refrigerator that kind of didn't make sense. Like we had sunflower seeds and she kept putting those in the refrigerator, but they're seeds, so they don't need to be refrigerated. We usually have several beverages around, and we only refrigerate like what we will use. So, and I mean things like milk, of course, but you know, like my guy will drink Diet Coke and he buys several, especially when they're on sale, and he only stocks the refrigerator with like what he'll need for like a day or two, and he'll constantly restock. And she went through and took all of the Diet Cokes and put all of them in the refrigerator. Myself, it sounds weird, might gross you out, sorry. Sorry if it grosses you out. But I like room temperature beverages. And I usually drink like teas, like bottled teas. And I usually leave them on the counter, and she'd put all those in the refrigerator. Like I said, she just kind of went through and reorganized like half of our life, especially in the room that she was staying in. I've mentioned before that I've moved in and I'm still in boxes. So I had several things, like a photograph that I took in college because I took photography. Forgive me. And anyway, so this photography, like one of the pictures that I did in photography, where I took the picture, developed the film, printed the picture, and you know, like I actually added color by oil paint on top of the photograph. My college degree, there was a heart-shaped mirror. There was like a letterboard that had a quote on it, and they were all stacked up on top of some boxes. And it's like she hung the mirror on the closet door. She put the letterboard, and for some reason there was a quote already on it, but she spelled one of the words backwards. Like it was in there, but then she put the word backwards on the letterboard. Everything else was correct, but one, it was like a common word too, like the, and then she had a EHT instead of THE. Something strange like that. It was just a small, simple, common word. And she had that on the ground by the door. The picture of the flower that I had done, she propped up in front of the boxes. And then my degree, she shoved into the closet. So it was just odd. And then things like she took the sheet off of the bed and shoved it into the back of one of the drawers in that room. Because when I did the sheets later that week, and I asked her, I'm like, hey, where's the top sheet? And she's like, oh, I don't use it. So I shoved it in somewhere, and I had to go through everything finding it, and she shoved it in the back of a drawer. I don't know why she would have done that. But anyway, so just constantly reorganizing things. She would just take off for walks. She'd be up at all hours of the night. It was kind of crazy. She was able to fly here and actually get on several planes at several different times without identification, because before she came to us, we found out later she had actually crashed 2 separate vehicles, and she'd lost her cell phone, her wallet, basically, like all her bank cards and her ID, like lost everything. Lost one of the vehicles that she crashed. Her daughter and her husband were trying to get her committed in the state that they live in, and I guess she was aware of this, and that's why she flew out. And like I said, she's able to get on the plane multiple times without ID, which is just mind-blowing to me. But then even a friend said, hey, my husband lost his driver's license when he was out of town, and yeah, they do have ways that you can still fly, and that makes sense. You can be out of town or traveling and end up losing your identification. It does happen, or sadly, like sometimes it can get stolen as well. So I guess I understand that there would be a process there. But anyway, so they were trying to have her committed so she could get some help, and she kind of just took off. And like I said, she would not sleep at night. She'd be up walking around. It's like, you'd be like, where is she? And she just took off walking. Half the time when we came home from work, we would like get gas, and then she would be walking down the road near the gas station or something, and we'd be like, okay, come on, you know, type of a thing. So she has a history of a lot of different things, like minor things, but it seems like it has gotten worse. She did mail a letter. It was a bubble mailer, and she put 7 or 8 different stamps on this bubble mailer, and she wrote the letter inside of the box where you write the address, like who you're addressing it to. She wrote a letter there, and on the back of the bubble mailer, and inside of the bubble mailer, it was just a sheet of stamps. So things are not quite normal. When she was with us, she did leave. She ended up stealing from us. So she took 2 sets of keys from my guy and what she thought was a credit card. She did tell him when she got to her destination, when she flew to her destination, she's like, I was bad. I took your truck keys and I took your credit card. I'm going to mail them back to you. And she did mail them back, and it wasn't his truck keys, but it was 2 different sets of keys. And one of the keys did have a house key on it, and the keys that she did take were older keys. So now keys are like chipped and what have you, so they're not easy to duplicate. But the car keys that she did end up taking are older vehicles that he either restored or is in the process of restoring, because like I said, it was 2 separate vehicles. And so she could have made copies. We don't know. But she did not return the house key that was on one of them. He knows for a fact that there was a house key on one, and that key did not get returned when she returned the sets of keys. She thought she took a credit card. It was not. It was like a rewards card. Looks kind of, I guess, similar to a credit card, but it was not. Even now there's things of mine that were in that room, because like I said, I'm in boxes and what have you, that I have not been able to locate. So I don't know if she just moved them to a different spot, if they weren't where I originally thought they were, or if she had taken those things as well. So she did help herself to things, and you know, she went back to her state. She said she was going to get things in order there, and then she was going to come back, and she did not get anything in order, and she flew back. She contacted us again, at which time she was told, hey, you know, you stole from us. You're not going to come stay with us. You know, like, that's not okay. And then, you know, she spent like a day or two at the airport and then ended up going back home. And about a little while after being there, things that I've heard that she's done while she was at home, or maybe even before she came, I don't know. Her and her husband had a storage unit. And when she did return, her husband served her with a restraining order. They couldn't get the paperwork done fast enough to have her committed. So they did serve her with a restraining order to keep her away from their home and her husband's job. While she was here, she had texted him threatening him. So he was able to get the restraining order even though they couldn't get the commitment paperwork. There's a lot more about that in the second part. So anyway, yeah, he was not able, he served her with a restraining order, and she did end up breaking the restraining order to go to the house, and she took things of his as well as hers out of the house. At this point, the vehicle that she had lost had been found. She went home to get it, but she never did. Her husband ended up getting it, and she tried taking her truck. It is her truck that's on their property, but the battery was dead, so she wasn't able to start the car. She told their neighbors that her husband had passed away, which was kind of odd because he had not. So again, it's like red flags. But she just kind of disappeared. And then again, she shows up here and again contacted my guy and is like, hey, come pick me up, which we did not. She had somebody else leave a message on his phone. And we weren't sure where she was for quite a while, like probably a couple weeks. And then she ended up contacting him again and letting him know that she was flying out from Las Vegas that night to Michigan, which is where my guy's originally from. I'm originally from. We both have a lot of family, like gobs of family there. So it seemed like she was returning back to where she grew up and her family. And as of to date, that is where we are aware that she is. So one thing that I want to mention, I am aware of mental health issues. Myself, I have depression. I do have a little bit of anxiety. Those are the two things that I'm more aware of. And with my depression, sometimes I have bad thoughts. And anybody who does have that or even anxiety, and they're thoughts, they're not like hearing voices. But I have had thoughts before, wanting to like act in ways that I shouldn't, that are not appropriate towards people. Like, for example, at one point, I, for no reason in that moment, but I had wanted to actually attack a boss of mine, and I just heard her talking, and like instantly, like I kind of wanted to hurt her. And I mean, there was no reason that I wanted to, and I knew that it was not logical. So myself, like, I went away from where I was hearing her voice. I turned around and I went a different direction because I knew that it was not a rational thought. And I did get help. You know, I called my doctor. My doctor actually put me out on a medical leave. And, you know, so I did seek help. And so when we're dealing with someone that a lot of people, because her husband, her daughter, my guy, you know, my guy's other sibling, a lot of these people are trying to get her to want to get help, and she's even acknowledging that she's delusional. I don't know what she has. I'm not a doctor, and this is something I'm not familiar with, but I feel like even with her actions and what she's doing, like, she's sane enough to get on a plane and get by security, get through TSA, you know, and she's getting in and out of places, and it just is strange that to think that she might not be in control of herself. Like, I know that she's not well, and but it's just at some point, like, it seems like she also knows, because like I said, with the mail, and her opening the mail, she's like, I was bad. She started by saying she was bad, and when she stole the keys and the what she thought was a credit card, she called him up and instantly was like, I was bad. So she's acknowledging that what she's doing is not right and not appropriate behavior. Sorry, this cold. So she is acknowledging this, but I'm just wondering, at what point does she have control and at what point does she not have control? And I don't know this, and so it's like I don't really want to make a judgment about it, but it's a hot mess, which is why I chose the hot mess kit for this week. And like I said, this has kind of been ongoing. The next kit, the second part to this, I used the Candyland kit because I was dealing not only with her, but a student, and also the topic of mental health. The student, it's more I'm aware of, but I'm not dealing with, and I know the student. So I'm just kind of up on the situation. But anyway, so the Candyland kit, I mean, the start of October, you know, it's like candy, Candyland, fantasy, beautiful, but it's also like mental health can sometimes be a little bit of a fantasy land. So in part 2, we will be discussing what people have tried and what we have found out as far as dealing with somebody with mental health. In the meantime, I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Part 2, I want to post one day after I post part 1. So I will be posting part 1, and then tomorrow I should be posting part 2. So I hope you have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye, guys.